over his face, and his eyes turn this like shiny dark gold, and he turns and looks at Orlo with this big toothy grin, these long fangs of this whole toothy grin. He looks at Orlo and goes, "And this is why they sent me to kill you." And he turns around and slashes at this guy with these great big talons.
The rest of you, as this is happening, you also see there's people that are kind of running out, charging towards all of you. Emmerin, Laya, and Roland. Also, you all have people charging out of the woods towards you, and all of them kind of take swings at you. Emmerin, the first guy, kind of just clean over your head since since you've ducked down behind the cart. He catches the top of the cart, and Steve is very unhappy. Laya, the guy comes out charging at you and swings, and you can just step to the side. And Roland, the one in front of you, kind of runs out, and he goes to swing at you, and he kind of catches your armor, but he's swung a little bit too shallow, and you see him just standing in front of you now. Laya, you are up.
Is anybody close enough to me that that I could use sneak attack if I choose to?
So it's 5 feet, right?
Yes.
Then no.
Boo. Okay.
I mean, if you're using your bow on the one that Roland is next to, that would technically give you your sneak attack.
That is true, because you are using your bow.
Loopholes. Yeah, then I'm gonna try to shoot at number 1. It's a 12 to hit.
That will not hit.
Damn it.
So Laya, you send the arrow sailing out, and as you hear the guy kind of stepping behind you, you flinch a little bit, and your arrow kind of misses its mark. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Yeah, I'll use my cunning action to disengage, and I'll make my way over to Roland.
Do you want to engage with the guy that's in melee with him?
Oh, I have to pick somebody to engage with now?
No, I was just asking, do you want to move to that side? Is that your ultimate plan, or do you want to stay kind of back a little bit?
Like there.
Okay. Sir Roland, with your large toothy grin.
Roland's going to step forward and adopt a very classical, one-handed broadsword fighting pose, and sort of sweep forward with his shield, and then thrust and try and stab this motherfucker in front of me.
Go for it.
16.
That will hit.
All right. 9 damage.
Okay.
And then I get 2 attacks per action, which is something I've never had in D&D before.
Well, welcome.
And
also,
so I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna stab him one time, and then try and step to the side a little bit and follow up with a slashing attack.
Heard.
Give him the old 1-2.
The old 1-2. That's 23.
That'll do.
And that's another 9.
So, if you would like to explain how you mangle this man into pieces, please feel free, Sir Roland.
So this guy comes up and he slashes at Roland, and Roland kind of deftly steps back and adopts this fencing pose, and kind of laughs at this guy, and then shoves him back with his shield and stabs him. And then when he's staggering from the stab, Roland draws the sword back and kind of flips it around and slashes it right into the part of this guy's neck that is not protected by his armor.
Laya, as you're running over to Sir Roland, you see him just absolutely eviscerate this man in front of you, and he just drops to the ground.
Not a killer, eh?
I'm not a murderer. And Roland flicks the blood off of his sword, and I still have movement for this action, right?
Correct.
I'm going to close the distance with number 4.
Heard. Orlo, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Gosh. Whatever will I do?
Save most dexterously.
You best believe.
I do believe.
15?
You stumble a little bit as the cart kind of immediately lurches forward without you expecting it, but you keep your footing.
Why has the cart lurched forward?
It's attached to an angry owl bear.
It's attached to a very angry owlbear
Who's he upset?
jumps forward and just slams this man in front of him into the ground, and he's just got one paw on like the middle of his chest and just is absolutely just gnawing at him. Orlo, it is your turn.
So I'm just like, whoa, Steve, calm down. And I just like get down on my hands and knees and like gingerly get off the cart. And I just shout out, who needs some help?
Roland's gonna say, they do.
No, I mean, which one of you guys need help on our side?
I think we've got it under control.
All right, well. And then I just kind of like walk over to the one Steve's gnawing on. What part of him is Steve gnawing on?
So he's like gnawing on his left arm.
So I just walk over and just kind of look over top of him, and then just start like I hit him with Bone Breaker in the gut.
So make 2 attacks with advantage because he is prone.
So first attack is 23. We're gonna bludgeon him. 2-hand style. Yes. That's an 11. Attack number 2. 15 is my second attack.
That hits.
That's gonna be another 7.
Okay.
So 18 total damage.
And you said you were hitting him in the gut.
Yeah, just twice, really hard right in the gut.
So as you're pounding, like you pick up Bone Breaker and just pound him twice as you're in the gut as he's sitting there, and you just see him start coughing up all this blood after the first hit. And the second hit, he even more just, and then his head just kind of falls to the side.
And I'm just like, good job, Steve. And I just like pat him on the head.
And Steve like picks up his head for a second and lets out like a chirp. He's like, and then just goes back to just ripping this dude's arm off. Emmerin.
I don't have to do this, but I'm going to because I've been dying for 2 fucking sessions to do this. Emmerin is ducked down in front of this guy, and he sees the swipe come out overhead, and it gets stuck into the cart. And he looks at it and goes, "Oh, you chose the wrong day to fuck with me, buddy." And Emmerin stands up to his full height, and his bones start to crack as his body enlarges. This black, like, scale begins to form over his leg and up over his body. As he's doing this, he's kind of like loosening a few straps on his leather armor, and it eventually spreads up over his face, and his eyes turn this like shining dark gold. And he turns and looks at Orlo with this big toothy grin, these long fucking fangs of this whole toothy grin. He looks at Orlo and goes, "And this is why they sent me to kill you." And he turns around and fucking slashes at this guy with these great big fucking talons. It's kind of like a black scaly kind of look, gold eyes, and like kind of long darkened hair now has kind of whooshed down his back. It's kind of demonic looking. And he turns and makes 2 strikes at this guy. No, just one. Sorry, 1 strike at this guy.
That's
Sorry.
right. You took 2 levels of rogue, didn't you? Or 3?
2 levels of rogue and 3. We're level 6, 3 and 3.
3 and 3. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 13 to hit.
That misses.
Fuck. I wanted this to be so baller. Okay, that was my bonus action and my attack. So
Okay. Do me a favor and roll intimidation as well.
oh yeah. Oh my god, a nat 1. Are you fucking kidding me?
Switch to real dice, BK.
Dear God, I've been rolling them on my real dice.
Lia, what is your AC?
Very high.
It's a 37.
No, it's a 15.
While I'm standing there watching Emmerin do all this and I watch him miss and fail to intimidate, I just get out a little notebook and pen or writing utensil and write on it like 5.2 and hold it up.
I hate you so much.
So a bunch, Lia, a couple more arrows kind of fly out of the darkness behind you. Three of them kind of zip past your head, and one of them catches you, just like right at the shoulder. It doesn't deal any damage, but it does kind of nick off your shoulder. And you hear off in the, not very far off, but off in the distance behind you guys, you hear this very, very loud horn as it blows. Just this.
There it is.
And it carries on for a minute as this is going on. Roland, you have too high of an AC. Emmerin, does your AC go up with lycanthropy?
I gotta check.
I wasn't sure. I mean, not that it hits anyway, but
Oh, it's 18, and no, I'm resistant to damage.
okay, just non-magical damage.
Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical, non-silvered weapons.
Check.
I get a +1 to my AC.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yep.
So Roland, the guy in front of you saw what you just did to his other friend, and he kind of goes to slash at you again, and he kind of catches you across the chest as the sword kind of just drags across. You hear the armor as it kind of like jingles as the splint kind of rocks back and forth, but you feel the impact and nothing more than that. Emmerin, the guy in front of you, he hasn't seen something like you, and you can tell it in his eyes, but he kind of takes this big swing at you, and he catches you across like the hand where you swiped at him, and you almost grab his sword, and you can see the kind of fear start to well up a little bit behind his eyes.
Damn right.
Lia, it is your turn.
I'll take a shot at the guy, at the person engaging with Roland.
Okay. You will be able to use your sneak attack if you do hit.
Apparently, I need to practice my archery because that was a 9.
That also misses. It sails over, and Roland, you see the arrow kind of zip over the top of the guy in front of you. And it is your turn, sir.
Roland is gonna try and hit this guy with his sword.
Go for it.
Here's one. That's a natty, or sorry, I thought it was a 1, but it's a 7. If only I could read.
They look similar. They're all straight numbers with a slant at the top.
So it's 13, but with my sacred weapon, it's a 16.
That hits.
And that is another 9 damage. Rolling solid 4s on these D8s, these digital D8s.
And then your second attack.
Second attack is a 19. Almost. Here we go. And that's going to be 10 damage.
Okay. So exactly the same thing. Roland walks over to this gentleman, and if you'd like to explain again how you...
Yeah, so this dude, again, swings the sword and catches Roland in the armor, but he leaves himself open, so Roland kind of steps behind him and uses his shield to, like, bash him to the ground. And when he's on the ground, Roland takes the sword and just drives the tip through this guy's throat. And then he let's see. We've got one more that we can see. And which direction were the arrows coming from? Like from behind Laya?
They're coming from like behind Laya to the like your top right side of the.
All right. Roland's gonna look down and see Emmerin has turned into this beast man and is engaging with this guy and Orlo and the owlbear over there. And Roland's gonna look at Emmerin and say, "I knew it." And then he's going to go back and stand in front of Laya, between her and the arrows, and kind of bring his shield up.
Steve is very preoccupied, just chowing down. So Orlo, what would you like to do?
Having seen Emmerin strike a slight bit of fear into that gentleman, I cross out the 5.2 and write a 6.0 and hold it up. And then I tuck it away and I kind of like dart over to that guy and I'm just gonna flank him, and then like I look like around him at Emmerin, and I just kind of like point at Emmerin and then point at him like, you want this one?
And he just fucking like
yeah. So I'm just gonna stand by as support behind this dude while Emmerin is like taking him on.
I love it.
Emmerin.
Finally. So he's gonna
also don't forget you get a +2 for the flanking bonus.
Oh right, we don't do advantage here, right?
Yeah, it's just too much with more than like 2 people. It's really ridiculous.
No. I know, but then I don't get my sneak attack. Oh no, I do, because Orlo is within 5 feet. Yeah,
correct.
That's fine. Okay. So the first thing he's gonna do, and he's gonna, because he's grabbed the sword, there's gonna be a little bit of blood on his hand. He's gonna take his hand and draw it back across the blade, and this electrical pulse is gonna go across his claws, and he's gonna reach out and strike this guy again with the +2. Fucking hit, you asshole. Fuck me, a 26. Thank you.
That'll do.
Nice.
That'll do. So hold on, I have a whole bunch of things I need to do.
Yes, you do.
Strap in, everybody.
Die.
Shit's about to get cool.
15 damage.
That's enough. How would you like to cover Orlo in blood?
It would be exactly that. Yeah. So he like takes his hand, he carves it down the blade, and then as the blood pours down his hand crackles with the electrical energy, and just with one fucking backhand, he just carves the guy through the chest and just sprays Orlo. Then he bites the guy on the head because he can.
Orlo, you are now covered in blood and guts and skin and amalgams of other things.
I just pause and blink a couple times, pull out the notebook, flip to a clean page, and in blood write 10 on it and hold it up.
That's beautiful.
And he'll look at you at this point and go, "You stand right."
So, let's see. I've decided that Sir Roland drops all of his armor. So Sir Roland, you're behind your shield, kind of covering Laya, and you start feeling just wave after wave of arrows as they drive into the shield. And Laya and Sir Roland, please go ahead and make perception checks, if you will.
18.
2. Roland's not been very perceptive this evening.
You're hearing a lot of arrows banging off your shield, and that's about it.
Roland's laughing. He's like, as these arrows are just clanging off of his shield, he's laughing kind of loudly, and he can't hear shit else.
Okay, so Laya, as you're sitting there, you're trying to figure out where these arrows are coming from, and you're just trying to figure out what's going on around you guys as you're kind of getting just barraged from the dark. And all of a sudden, you start to hear a more familiar sound as you hear just the crunching of the gravel of the road that you've been walking on, and it sounds like not only footsteps but also the sound of horses, and it sounds like more than one.
Oh god, it's the wild hunt.
Who's a wild cunt?
After a minute goes by, you hear the sound of another horn blow coming off in the distance, and it's a different sound than the one you heard previously. And as soon as you hear this, Sir Roland, you stop feeling these arrows bouncing off your shield. You stop hearing the movement around you guys. And coming up the road in front of you, it's just getting light enough now that you can see the silhouettes of people against the horizon. And at first glance, it looks like 15, maybe 20 people walking towards you. And you can see behind the one, there's at least one of them on a horse, and you can see behind them, Sir Roland, you would be relatively familiar with this. There's a banner strapped to the horse, and it's behind him up in the air. And you can't see it, and you can't make it out, but you see them approaching you. And with that, I do believe that is a perfect place to actually end the session for tonight.
Ooh.
No.
That's rude.